lucky folks. It is me, Mrs. Spanky, back here for a wonderful storytelling of Esther. Now, all know that Esther has beautiful singing. Now, she says, do you want me to sing one of her songs? You young lady, do you? I'll just sing one. The battle is not ours, and all these thinkings are by our side. There's nothing that we can do when God is by our side. Did you like it? You young lady, did you?
Yes, I liked it.
Good. Then we will move on to the questions. This is home church. If you ever really want to watch this, then it will be on your phone. And there's lots of home churches on the way. And it's called home church because you record it at church. And at church, and sometimes you can record it at somebody's house. And you can watch it at your house. That's why it's called home church. So, moving on to the questions. What do you need? What? Okay, that was our question. Now, does anyone have any leftover questions? Do you have a question about Esther? No. Do you have a question about Esther?
Yes.
Good. Now, what's your question?
Can you please tell us the story of Esther?
Yes. Now, once upon a time, there was a girl named Esther. She was scared about her friend stealing an apple. And then her cousin Mordecai was like, just go tell her to do the right thing. But then Esther was like, what if she doesn't want to be my friend anymore? And then after that, Haman came with, and he's like, the king needs a queen. All girls from Jerusalem, get
Not
in.
always.
Well, I'm just calling it Jerusalem because I forget the name now, because it's been a long year. Okay? Now, I'm pretty old for my age. And now, we will, and then after that, Haman was like, you young lady, get in. And then she was like, I'd rather stay here with my cousin. Shh. And then Mordecai was like, and then Haman was like, did you shush me? And then he was like, no, my cousin. Shh. Did you shush me again? And then he said, just get in. And then she got in, and then traveled, and then after that, she got to the castle. He was seeing which girl had that beautiful singing, and then she sung, the battle is not ours. And he takes away our bad thinking. And there's nothing that we cannot do when God is by our side. Yes.
Power off.
Literally, you picked this time to power off. Let me just power her back on.
Power on. Bluetooth mode.
Now, after that, she finishes doing all her singing, and then the king thumbs up, and then Esther became queen. And then after that, Mordecai came, and he was like, my cousin, Essie, the queen of all of the place. Who knew? And then after that, he said, get some rest, Essie. And then after that night, the other night came. And then after that, she invited the king and Haman to a nighttime feast. And then Esther finally had to do what was right. Someone's plotting against my family. Who would do such a thing? It's Haman. And then after that, Haman been sent to the island of particular tickling. You tickle day and night and day, without stopping. And then after that, it was all good. And then they lived happily ever after. And then instead of Haman being the king's right-hand man, it was Mordecai. And then they lived happily ever after. The end. Now, any more questions? Did you like my story?
I love your story.
Good. Now, any more questions? Because
No, ma'am.
church is almost over.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about any other stories? I guess.
Not right now.
Well, what we learned from that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you tell other stories like Jonah?
Oh, I'll try to tell David because we only have a little more time before I start telling you what we learned from those two stories. So let's do it. David was a little boy. He had a lot of brothers. And then David David's big brothers had to fight big warriors, and then Goliath showed up. And then he was like, who dare challenges Goliath? And then after that, David was like, I'll challenge Goliath. And then Goliath was laughing. Ha 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 ha. You, tiny person, will challenge me, big Goliath? He was as fierce as a bear, as brave as a lion, and as huge as a dragon. And then
A little pebble.
And then David got ready. And then the king was like, are you sure this guy can fight Goliath? He's going to need big armor. And he's like, no, I'm not going to use the armor. I've got God. So, then after that, excuse me. And then after that, he got pebbles. And then when it was actually fight time, David swung his pedal thing, whacked Goliath on the forehead with the pebble, and he went down, and David put a sword in his belly. Now, any other questions? Okay, what did we learn from those stories? We learned that you don't have to be afraid to do the right thing. And you can do anything when you're by God's side. Now, I think church is almost over here. So any more questions?
Nope.
Okay. Bye-bye.